3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I've given it 7 seconds. We are live. This is the Bunderdome. I am your host, Timothy Lim, and with me is my co-creator and writer, Mark Pellegrini. How's it going?
Doing great. I mean, I feel pretty good for a failure.
This is the failure stream. Apparently, our franchise is a spectacular failure.
I heard there wasn't going to be a Kamen America 3. Is that true?
No, I mean, I've already finished about 45 pages. I have just I have just shy of 12 more to go. But I might as well just throw in the towel because it's just awful. It's the worst.
It's over. It's done.
It's over. I mean, we're done for. It's bad. So bad. So this is the failure stream, and we're being facetious because even though we don't like setting these standards for ourselves, it's also something we can't overlook, which is there are people who are rooting for us, and they set these milestones that might seem kind of arbitrary. And if it weren't for them pointing it out to us, I don't think I would ever notice. And over the last few days, we actually hit a milestone by combining Kickstarter and Indiegogo. We actually, for the first time, crossed 6 figures on a property that was only introduced in January. But let me give the people listening or tuning in later a little bit of some headway. So everything that's happened so far that's culminated in Kamen America happened because of one thing. It happened because of a political parody. That's where we started. And looking back at it, I mean, we had this long drive from Florida back to Arkansas. So we were on the road for at least 32 hours at least. And we were kind of reminiscing on it, that a lot of things have happened in the last 4 years. We started our work in publication with a political satire, and then we moved into comics doing that. And as much as people were telling us that that wasn't the way to go and to stop doing it, we not only trusted the quality of the work and our ability to entertain, but we were able to kind of rapidly change course and spin other works off of it. So we were learning as we went along. And Kamen America was really the culmination of all of that. It is not a political book by nature. It's been reviewed by countless people who don't have any political leanings whatsoever. What we're trying to tell is a moral story, and one in which a lot of the lessons in it are actually lessons that we had learned over the last 2 years working in comics, some of the trials and tribulations and some of the mistakes and some of the things that we had learned over time. So having introduced the character last year as kind of a throwaway character in a political parody, to see her metaphorically rise to where she is today, it's humbling. It's a lesson in never giving up. And we really hope that the people who read it, I hope that you get something from it. If nothing else, I hope that you're entertained and that we did a good job of storytelling. But we have heard from quite a lot of people who felt like it resonated with them in a deeper way. And that's good too. We would like that to happen, and that's kind of our intent. And we know that we're not going to reach everyone that way, but the people that we can, it means a lot to us, because it means that we achieved a secondary goal, which is to have it resonate far deeper than just a superficial trait.
Well, we're hitting customers and earning fans who are people we don't know and who don't know us. And that's, I think that's the most gratifying success, is when someone who doesn't know you from Adam, has no personal opinion of you as a human being, isn't your friend, isn't your family, isn't your acquaintance. They pick up your creation completely blind and they enjoy it. That feels like, well, I think there is some objective quality to what I've written, to what you've drawn, to what we've created, when there's no other influence on the reader than the book itself, and they say they like it. Sometimes I'll go on Twitter and I'll search Kamen America just to see if people are talking about it, and I find those people, and they're saying, hey, I picked up this book, and some of them are from other countries, like including Japan, where they import retail books, because the Kamen America Volume 1 retail edition from Antarctic Press came out a few weeks ago, and they got imported to Japan from Japanese bookstores and Japanese comic book stores that specialize in American comics. And Japanese readers are commenting on it and saying, I picked this book up. It was really good. And like, oh, wow, these people obviously had no idea who we are. They don't know about our politics, our opinions, our personalities. They just picked up the book and liked it. And that felt really good.
And I think the best compliment that we could get is that even the mediocrity of it's good, like something as basic as that is fine, because I think we're not here to be the next Alan Moore or Frank Miller. We're not here to break the mold, so to speak. But one thing
the industry.
Yeah. One thing that we did want to do, though, is show that two people who are at least passionate about the craft can bring back just basically the par of storytelling in terms of a well-written and executed story from beginning to end. If we can achieve that much, that level of quality, then we feel like we've succeeded. And as Mark said, seeing people who read the book and who back it sight unseen, they don't care who we are, that is a compliment. In fact, part of me wants to think that the more boring we are, if we can be very, very boring and very dull and still sell, that to me would be a very huge compliment, because it means that people are buying it on the merit of the work. They don't care about my politics. They don't care about where I'm coming from. All that they know is that it's something that they like and it's something that entertains them. But one thing that I do want to do right now, I did it last time, but I have actually done a little bit of forward work, is I want to thank the people who have helped us. That includes some of the more astute and valiant readers, and it includes some of our friends that we've known for a couple of years. There's a multitude of you, and if you're listening to this and your name is not mentioned, please, please, please do not feel bad or think I'm neglecting you. It's just that it's voluminous. I mean, it really is. There's so many people out there that we know that it really feels like we're not alone in anything that we do. And every time Mark writes a script or I draw a page, I'm always thinking that I don't want to let you down. I don't want to let down a person out there who might be sight unseen, who loves the work and doesn't want to see it go down in quality. We're always taking our money and reinvesting it. So as we cross six figures, I think actually Vikki was asking me about this kind of jokingly. She was like, are you guys gonna pay yourselves? And I said, I have a salary I pay myself as an LLC. So I basically cut a check, and it's the same check I've cut for the last 4 years that I've been in business. So I don't pay myself anything more. The rest of the money stays in that bank account. And subtracting the overhead, we basically split it between a company, Mark, and myself. So we don't make much from what we do. We take everything, we put it back into the budget for the next book. That is where it goes. And so I hope that when we show you what we have planned for 2021, you'll say that's where they invested it. We always pay ourselves last because this is ultimately just a hobby. And if we can at least break even, that makes us happy. So I'm going to look at not only the chat real quick. So you got guys like Neostar Productions. You have the AI Jim Tuner. It's always great to see him basically compiling all the data on the internet.
He's always right.
And always being right. He's actually grown a sense of humor recently. I've noticed facetiousness has been programmed into his matrix. So he's actually spouting some very witty things. But real quick, this is just a brief by no means exhaustive list of people that we want to thank. We want to thank Mythoverse and Dean. They take the time out of their day to, besides covering a lot of gossip and shenanigans, having their support, I think, is big, because as far as their blunt honesty is concerned, I think that having them as an endorsement is a good thing. And we've been friends with at least Vikki for a while now. And then Dean, he doesn't even read comics, but the fact of the matter is that he liked our work. And that's great. I think anyone that we can win over who is not a comic book reader is good. I'll take it. Wes from Thinking Critical, we actually just wrapped up, or I did an interview with him not too long ago. He actually asked me to come on his channel. We do not actively seek out YouTube creators whose channels to be on. We kind of feel bad doing that. So anytime someone reaches out to us, we'll take it because we like to talk about our work. Just some guy. I mean, I cannot begin to thank him because, again, I don't know who he is. We've known each other, but I don't pry into his business, and he does not have to read any of our works, but he buys them and then he reads them and he reviews them. He gives us a very honest review, even for Kamen America too. He loved it, but he even said, I like the first one better because how can you beat an origin story? But that's not saying that the second one was bad. So he always delivers a very good critique of our work and is always appreciated. And we hope that he'll be amused by what we have coming soon in the future. We have the SWC brothers. We have Comic Book Hut. We have Hervoge. Again, another person who he doesn't have to, but on Twitter, he's constantly retweeting and promoting us and other people as well. We have some friends from the Texas area like Patrick Johnson, who just had a kid recently. So congratulations, Keegan Hall.
Yeah,
he's a
congrats.
pastor. Again, two really solid guys, and we know we didn't get to see them this year because of the lack of conventions, but we miss you, and we hope that we'll see each other soon. We hope that 2021, for better or worse, will be better in terms of what we'll be allowed to do, and that's a hope that we're going to keep on having. We have Miss Sashi, who did work for us this year, and she's always great. She's always been very supportive. Doug Tennapel, I think he was the very first one who had us on to talk about it. Nasser Abadi, Doug Ernst, a really good friend of ours. He doesn't do much show promotions, but because we're friends, he made an exception. And I think he made the exception based on the fact that he knew we were going to deliver. So there was no risk to him to do it. We have number one Marmaduke fan, who's another individual who always buys our work and talks about
the Easter egg hunts on our books.
Yeah, he does those major Easter egg hunts. We have Shabby and Pickles, our friends from across the pond. We have Cheyenne, another kind of lady friend. We were talking about this the other day. It seems like a lot of the ladies in our circle of friends, they're all very cool and level-headed.
They're also based. Cheyenne, Vikki, Sashi, Carrots.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all got it together.
On that note, we have Bean from PA too. You know, another lady in our corner. We have Dick. I think his last name is pronounced Deschain. It's spelled Deschain, if my French serves me correctly. He's another person on Twitter who helps out. Matthew Reese. We have the Punchline people, Bill and Matt, Brian Ball, Jason Robinson, who does unboxing videos. And he's so clean with his unboxing. He takes out the X-Acto knife and cuts the tape properly and opens it. So he does a really good job with that. Plus, he has a drawing channel too, which is really good. Rodka over in the Czech Republic, Sporkman, Tyler Carpenter, Draw and Talk. I actually had dinner with him the day after Christmas, day after Thanksgiving, sorry. Really cool guy. Larry Higgins, I was on his late night show not too long ago. He has Niobe, and he just saw me lurking in the chat, and he threw me a link, and we had a good time. We talked for about, I think, an hour and a half. He was a good conversationalist. We have Grandpa 717. We have Dan and his wife, the Wises. She's the one who did some charms. I actually gave her permission to sell them because she loved the book so much. And I said, no, go ahead. You know, we'll probably call in a favor from her tomorrow, next year. But in the meantime, she's selling some Kamen America charms. If you go and visit her, I think it's her Etsy.
Oh, they look fantastic. And she even had trouble with the first run and did a second run of corrected charms.
Yeah.
And they look fantastic.
Yeah, they're really, really good. She actually has I think a webtoons out as well, and I think she's an up and coming talent in terms of her popularity is continuing to rise for sure. Rumble Terrier, another good friend of ours. We met him in person as well. The Nerd Wonder, she did a really good review of Kamen America 1. Bow ties are cool. Dina Israel, Lindsay Ann Hunter, some of our professional colleagues, Brett Smith and Jack Posobiec. Eric Wilson, a personal friend of ours. George Alexopoulos had us on the channel not too long ago on Podlamatic, and I don't think he needs an introduction because he's obviously really, really popular right now, especially after his Tim Pool appearance. Lawyer Kev, General Grudge, Animane Sparkster, Dan Sakaro and the Mythoverse, March Hare, Sapper Spy, obviously our friend Carrot, who we invited on tonight, but she's warm and cozy in her Florida bunker, so she didn't want to get up and chill with us, but it's okay. Adam Lane Smith, Alex Cretan, Switchpoint, Flork of Cows, whose art you'll see in Kamen America too. He draws those very adorable sock puppet web comics that are really, really popular.
And he has a sock puppet action figure available right now for a
He
limited
does.
time. So people
He
go
does
out
it
and get
at
that.
Ownage, OWNAJ. So I think it's crowdfunding. They have their own crowdfunding feature and functionality on there, and that Flork of Cow sock puppet action figure is being sold at the moment. Skinny and Doug with the Needle Mover Society. And by Doug, I mean Doug Garrett, not Doug Tennapel, even though all the Dougs are good. And then Kevin Street, who also recently did a review. And like I said, I know I'm going to be missing some names from that, but I just thought I would compile kind of this exhaustive list.
Yeah, I mean, I think you might already even mention them because there's a long list, but like Thomas Royal and Preston
SWC.
and Melter and the Hutt. And you already said DA Talks, that's right.
I said DA Talks, at the very beginning.
Ray Cortex, Comics Villain. I'm just thinking of Tyga, who's been giving us a lot of retweets lately.
Is it Villain or Villain? I would say Villain.
Is it Villain? I don't know why I pronounce it Villain.
Maybe no.
It is spelled
I think he spelled it Villain.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something wrong with me. Bianca Fights the Zombies is in the chat right now.
Ethereal Dragon's another one. Yeah, I see him all the time, or her.
Aaron Sparrow, who's
Aaron Sparrow. Yeah.
We need to do a Mandalorian stream. If we're not going to do like the episode by episode ones we did in season 1, we need to do like a season 2 recap stream with him.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons why we haven't done one is it's like what you were saying before. It seems almost easier to criticize something when it's bad, and when something is good, you take it for granted.
Right.
The other thing too is that I think if we speak too positively, people are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, these guys are like Disney shills or whatsoever."
I know, right?
The reality,
you liked Rise of the Resistance at Disney World, you shills. It was fun.
The reality is that The Mandalorian is very good, and I'm happy at least for any type of entertainment that at least bucks the trend as far as the other works are going. So I'll take what I can as far as that's concerned, and it has been very, very good this season. I feel like there's not really much else to say.
Right? Yeah. Quality. Just talk about the story beats when the whole season's done, I guess. So far, I've been enjoying it. It's actually we talked about it before, but I mean, we're not looking to hate stuff just as fans of like Star Wars. We don't want them to make bad Star Wars things just so we can complain about it. We'd rather they make good Star Wars things so we can enjoy it. So
right, we all want to enjoy stuff. And the sad thing though is that when you look at the way politics are, I mean, pretty much every major company that owns the franchises that you like, their politics are rather odious. So it's a diamond in the rough when you can find something that avoids that, and I think that's to be commended, and I think it speaks for itself. When you vote with your wallet, so to speak, you hope that the message goes to the higher ups to at least stay that course. I mean, there's sometimes, for example, I think it's like the recent DuckTales. I hear it's pretty good, but I know in season 3, I know that some of the wokeness is starting to peek its ugly head in there, and it's kind of like, hey guys, this is the reason you guys were doing so well was because you were avoiding it.
It's almost like they're trying to resist it. It's almost like when that stuff gets in there, it's like it sneaks its way in there. Because I just watched like the Christmas special while I was waiting for the stream this afternoon, and it's good. It's a perfectly good episode. Usually when they put in one of those woke messages, it's like it's almost insidious, just kind of like sneaks up there and just kind of like yells boo at you or yells lesbians, and then it just kind of goes away. And like, what was that all about?
We have some more people in the chat. We have Tony S, really, really cool guy. He had us on his show. Man, I want to say not too long ago, but you know how fast time flies. So it was either earlier this year or it was last year. I think it was earlier this year because I think it was right after the first book came out. And we have Twitless. I don't see you too much nowadays, Twitless, but I see you on other people's channels, so I know that you're still around. It's good to see you. Ickty5 is in here as well, and then Lotus Petal. Let me see where Lotus Petal is. There we go. Very sore and tired from retail work, but alive somehow. Hey, at least you're working. God bless you. I know that things are tough depending on where you are in the country. We live in red states. Everyone's pretty much working, but I know that that's not the case across the country. So anytime I see someone saying that they're working, I always say a prayer because I know that times are tough. There's some people who don't have a job right now. So any type of hard work is to be appreciated. Speaking of hard work, one thing I want to do real quick is some people have wanted us to address certain issues that were brought up, but I'm not going to point to a source, but I thought I would just touch on them real quick. As far as Common America is concerned, I guess some behind the scenes stuff that I think people might have not asked us about or talked about is that when it comes to the beauty of a work versus its substance, I don't see why you can't have both. And in fact, that was the kind of tactic that Mark and I had. Don't get me wrong, our covers are designed in a very specific way. They are very sexy and beautiful and kind of reminiscent of what you would expect from, let's say, a 90s Power Girl or Wonder Woman comic book. They're supposed to be evocative in that sense. But that's just to draw you in. And I think that the way Mark put it is like you come for the cover, but you stay for the story. The story is wholesome. It is substantive. And if you listen to reviews by people like Marmaduke Fan or just some guy, you don't have to hear it from us. You can listen to these impartial reviewers. We don't pay them for their endorsement. We don't even give them the work. They pay for it. And we don't even know about it until they review it and they tell people what they think about it. There are themes in there that we put that are beyond the superficial, that are intended to be very wholesome in terms of its content. And that's our trajectory moving forward. We're not businessmen at all, even though ironically, Mark works in the business building and I teach a business course. I would never call myself an entrepreneur or a tycoon. I think those are words that are very much above my pay grade and what I'm comfortable with. But here's the thing that Mark and I can do. We know how to operate a spreadsheet. We know how to budget. We've seen wasteful spending. I've seen it because, Mark works for the university. I have worked in the university. I am pretty good at seeing where money goes, and it irritates me, especially if you're a taxpayer and you look at the very, very fine print. You don't like it whenever there's wasteful spending. So we run a very tight ship. We do take risks that are fiduciary in nature. For example, earlier this year, I don't know if Mark, if you had a heart attack or not. I remember when we were on the phone, I was like, just to let you know, Common America is going to be a $10 book. And it wasn't incredulousness, but you were like, what, really? And I said, yes, because I have a suspicion that it's the cost prohibitive nature that can really set people back. And I think that by lowering the cost, I think that we can attract more backers who might be hesitant. And you're like, okay, it sounds like it's it's like economics 101.
Hey, Common America 2 currently, between the Kickstarter and Indiegogo combined, has over 3,600 backers. So, I mean, yeah, it's working. And that's what we want to grow, is we want to grow our backers. We want to get as many eyes on our books as possible, as many people who can read it. And if that means giving it a reasonable price point, and $10 in a competitive market of comics and manga and graphic novels, $10 is, the reasonable price point for a 56-page comic that has like bonus pages.
Right. And I think the happiest moment of that decision wasn't, obviously the backers are good because it's like, okay, they're coming in, they see the price point and they say, hey, this is a pretty good deal, because they can buy a $10 comic, they can get roughly 64 pages of content from it. But I thought the thing that made me really, really happy was when we optioned it for retail and Antarctic Press put their own version out, minus the 8 pages, it was still, the MSRP was identical to ours, which meant that if people were watching those two figures, they realized I got the better deal backing the campaign version because it's bigger, it's a higher quality as far as the binding is concerned and the cover, and I paid exactly the same price plus the shipping. That's great. And I think that part of that I think a lot of that rolled into the Common America 2 campaign, because word of mouth was, hey, this is a book that you can get at a very good entry-level price. There's nothing cost prohibitive unless you just want those add-on, the perks that you can get with the combo deals and increase it artificially, but there's nothing stopping you as far as like the price point is concerned. So it's I don't know, it's things like that I don't even consider to be like major business decisions. I just think that that's just a smart practice. And we are looking to lower our price. I mean, if we can get 3,000 backers during one campaign, provably so, we'll lower it. We'll keep on going as low as we can, $9, $8, because I just think that that's good business. I mean, don't get me wrong, we could keep it the same, but I think it behooves us to help to reward readers as well.
And it's like you mentioned, I mean, you and I, we both have day jobs. We do these comics as basically supplementary income when we turn a profit. Yes, we would take more home for ourselves if we increased the price point of the books, but then maybe we wouldn't because we might be selling less books that way. And then we'd probably just end up with the same amount taken home. So this way we sell more books. We put it at a reasonable price. Neither you or I are starving because we both have day jobs. So we're doing fine.
Yeah, the other thing I have as far as like a criticism is I heard that it's a book for the alt-right and that we mobilized a base of support that was basically consisted of, I don't know, white Nazis or something. Just for people's information, I am not white. Well, I guess technically I am.
You are now, yeah.
Yeah, which major headline was it that said that apparently Asians are now honorary
I think it was
white
New York
people?
Post, right?
No, New York Post is they're typically good.
So, New York Times, I'm sorry.
Maybe it's the New York Times.
Yeah.
But there are no politics in Kamen America. If there's anything that could be seen as remotely political, is in volume 1, the bad guy is from an undetermined Eastern European country. It's implied that there's ties to Russia, but that's only because if you think about it, just historically speaking, ever since the aftermath of World War II, Russia has always been the bad guy to America. And what Carly Vanders represents is kind of a traditional wholesomeness as far as like females are concerned. We're not even trying to make the point that you should live that way. We're just saying that as far as a person's ability to live their life is concerned, a spirit of self-reliance and individuality, these are the things that matter and are important to her character. This is what we consider to be fundamentally American. That's why it's part of her monologue. There is nothing political in the book. And I would hate for anyone to think, well, I heard from someone that it's a political book. That's not why I'm not picking it up.
Most of the people who are making that complaint that the book's, for alt-right Nazis or it's a white nationalist book or whatever, most of them, one, they haven't read the book, obviously. Two, they only know Tim and I for the fact that we made political parody books, that we started out with like Thump, the First Bunter Days, and then the Wall Might trilogy, and then Tim and Chuck Dixon did Trump Space Force. So they see the bibliography, and it's full of political parody books. So they make the assumption that Kamen America is part of that political parody series, which it isn't. And all they'd have to do is just sit down and read the comic, and they'd see for themselves. But they're not interested in reading the comic. They're just interested in doing hit pieces on you and me because we're conservatives, essentially.
Well, and I think the other thing, too, is you have to look who you listen to, because it wasn't just this person. I saw at least 2 people on Twitter who have their own YouTube channels, but I'm not going to give them the press. And what they did was they said they echoed the same thing. It was actually for Black Ops. I remember sending you that link, and I was like, you should listen to what this guy says. And he did the same thing. We're on Black Ops Omnibus on Indiegogo. He said, look what these people are doing wrong. Like, that's why they're failing. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm going to help these people out because look at what they're doing. They're failing. They're doing everything wrong. They're opening it up on the digital. Why would you do that? And I just thought, buddy, you haven't gone to Kickstarter. Like, I don't know who you listen to. Actually, no, I do know who you listen to. And because you listen to them, you don't know that we start on Kickstarter. That's our business model. Start on Kickstarter. We raise our funds that way. It doesn't take much to pay us because, like, again, we're really cheap. We do this as a hobby, and there's basically only 2 of us, aside from the cover art that we get and maybe 1 or 2 pinups. We do all the burden of the work, and we order the books. Everything that we sell on Indiegogo is the runoff of supply. It doesn't even matter if we make $1,000 in Indiegogo. It means and matters not, because we're basically just trying to sell it to people who are loyal to Indiegogo and want to only shop there. That's fine. We'll provide for them. But they make it sound like it's this kind of horse race where it's like,
well, okay. Well, first, just real quick, we didn't list Josh the Amazing Animator or Fresher Look in our thanks, saying that Josh showed up there and was like, oh, I'm sorry, Josh. But also Fresher Luke, who had some bonus art in Kamen America 2, was it? That's his, in Kamen America 2. So thanks to Fresher Luke. But just on this topic, I noticed that between those 2 particular videos by 2 different people, and they're on 2 different titles that we did, Black Ops 3 and Kamen America 2, they had almost identical tactics. And I don't know if that just happens to be a coincidence or if it's just some groupthink going on, but it's, ignore the Kickstarter and then focus only on the Indiegogo. Frame it as being the only time we're putting these books up, and that way you can mark it as a failure. Now, even if you just looked at the Kamen America 2 Indiegogo and ignored the Kickstarter that made $66K, the Kamen America Indiegogo is currently at like $41K right now. Even by itself, I wouldn't call that a failure. But it is this sort of using half-truths to create a untrue narrative that people who don't like us for whatever reason are using. And yeah, the points they brought up were identical. They both said we were charging too little for the book, which is the most bizarre complaint I've ever heard. It's like, how is that a bad thing for making the book affordable for people and we're maintaining the quality of the product? What's bad about that? And the other one, was they both brought up the digital thing. And like, we're doing the digital because it's kind of a compromise because we can't do international shipping. So the digital is available for international customers, but it's also available for people who've never heard of Kamen America and aren't sure if they want to spend the $10 plus shipping on the physical, but they can get the PDF. And if they like it, then maybe next time they'll back the physical. And we've had dozens of people tell us that's exactly what they did on Kamen America 2. For the Kamen America 1 campaign, they bought the PDF for $5, liked it, and came back to get the Kamen America 1 reprint and Kamen America 2. So, I mean, it's working.
Yeah, and then Jim Tuner says, oh, that's another one. Someone accused me of not paying the artists. I'm the artist. I'm the one who draws it, colors it, letters it.
Who are you not paying?
I don't know. And every person who has ever worked on our book as either a cover artist or a pinup artist, they're all paid. My spreadsheet, I have no outstanding balances. Everyone has been squared away. I pay on time, ahead of time, and a lot of times. And for some of the foreign artists, I actually like to get paid after the work is completed. They're all paid for and squared away. I honestly don't know where that accusation
for the Japanese artists, you've been, that's just completely fabricated. Like the Japanese artists you hire via Skeb, like you posted one today from artist Koso-ri. And through Skeb, it is a platform specifically designed to pay artists for commissioned work. So if you get a commissioned work via Skeb, you pay them because that's the platform. Yeah, so I don't know anybody who's find us one of the artists who did a piece of work for us who says they weren't paid, and we'll sort it out with them. But you're not going to, because every artist who's ever worked for us has been paid. So that's all just fabrications. Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, I thought that the very funny thing, and this is, I guess, where I'll leave off on that particular topic, is that I didn't even find out about this particular video until 24 hours after it occurred. And I think the funniest thing in kind of musing about it is that we didn't even have to say anything. They basically hanged themselves with their own rope. And it kind of goes back to something that I've said ad nauseum on several streams of this kind, but I guess I'll say it again. Our business model is that the work speaks for itself. We put our heads down, we work, and hopefully pray to God that people see that, and they see the dedication, and they see the speed that we can come out with something as hobbyists, as people who, honestly, we didn't know what we're doing. We still don't know what we're doing. We just know that what people want is they want a high quality book that feels like it's worth the money they paid for it, and they want it on time. That's not complicated. That's simple business. When you have a monetary exchange, you deliver a product. That's it. And so I just thought, if someone wants to lambaste us based on bad business practices, they're free to do so. But I thought it was touching to me that people pointed it out, that we did not have to do anything. I didn't do anything because I didn't even know it was occurring until after the fact. And I think that just says that we, we're not failure proof. I mean, there are definitely going to be some risks that we're going to take, but that doesn't mean that we have to pass off those failures to the reader. Those are things that we have to eat and things that we can incur on our own. So I am going to knock on wood, and with humility, I will take whatever victories that we can, because they're not assured in the future, and we're not business people.
But we hope that we can stay the course, and we hope that, again, the people who are tuning in, I hope you all have faith in us that we will at least deliver something, and we will deliver on time. We will not take your money and not deliver on something that we can't promise
And
or fulfill.
honestly, I think just as creators, we're learning with every installment of our books that we put out. Which is why I was surprised when just some guy said that he liked Volume 1 of Kamen America more than Volume 2. I mean, I look at Volume 1, it's that thing that I think every writer and sometimes an artist too have, where you look at a previous work and all you can really do is diagnose it for all the things you did wrong, because you do that so you can learn from it and do better the next time. So I always kind of feel like the thing that I'm writing right now is better than the thing that I wrote in the past. But you can learn from that too. And just some more names that came to mind just real quick. Jack Irons, J Step, Alex from Kursova.
Oh yeah,
And,
Alex, can't forget him.
I know Matt Moylan's and John Delarose.
John Delarose. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad, John.
Zippy the Unicorn.
Zippy the
Maui's
Unicorn.
Hook.
Yeah.
I'm basically just scrolling down my Twitter timeline. There's all these folks who are always so supportive of us. They're always Bloodborne 2. He's another one. Oh, Brian Ball and everybody at
I
Rags.
thanked him. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah. Pretty much if you've had a cameo on our book, it's because we love you.
Well, and it's not just that. Some people, if you're like, how come I haven't had a cameo in the book yet? One is maybe you don't have an avatar that's easily recognizable, or it's proprietary, so I can't use it. Two, I mean, I have a list. There's some names that really work for the cameos based on the situation. For example, if there's a nature scene, really hard to sneak in Easter eggs in there, simply because there's not much that you can have as far as name or signage or anything like that. But for example, one I had on my list for the longest time was Reba the Mermaid. And I was like, how the heck am I going to fit Reba the Mermaid in here? And, sure enough, spoiler alert, in Kamen America 3, the opening scene takes place during a carnival. And so I just thought, oh, that's it right there. There's so many things I can fit into that one. So we made sure to put Reba in there. So, I mean, don't feel hurt if you're not in it. There are some people who are reoccurring because I trust them. They're very good friends. They've been very steadfast and understanding. Vikki's one. I mean, heck, the character is basically named after her. It's misspelled slightly. I know she spells hers with 2 Ks, but I think that was actually an error on my part, but it was too late. So we spell it with a CK.
I mess that up in the first drafts of almost all my Kamen America scripts. Is that I'll instinctively type it as Vikki with 2 Ks, and then in like draft 2, I'll have to go back and change it to Vikki with a CK.
Yeah. So like I said, it's nothing personal. It matters most in terms of how organically I can fit it. Now, some people don't like it. I think I heard a review, or I saw on Twitter, someone was like, I don't like the Easter eggs. They distract me from reading it, and that's fine. But on the other hand, that's not something I'm going to change, because what can we do to thank all these people? The only thing that we can do is make sure that you don't feel like you wasted your money on us. We deliver on time, if not ahead of time. We're fast, and we feel like the quality doesn't diminish. I mean, as far as like the quality of my art, I didn't go to art school, so obviously it's not going to be that great, not like A-list work for sure. But I hope that you don't feel like there's a part where I'm slacking off, because I definitely do. I do put into work in it, and I hope that doesn't disappoint. And Mark,
some guy pointed out that you color your speed lines, and I was like, hey, Tim does color his speed lines. Wow.
I do. I cheat though. I use a Procreate functionality to do it. It makes it a whole lot easier. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting when he pointed it out. It's like he colors his speed lines. I just thought, oh, okay. I didn't know that was like is that like a weird thing? Because
I'd never thought about it before until just some guy pointed it out. I never even noticed it. It never occurred to me like, wait, yeah, those aren't just grayscale lines on a color panel. He actually does go and color.
Matthew Reese says, Tim drew me just to kill me. It's fair. Now, Matthew, your character vanishes from the screen. It's implied, but you're the creative one, so you need to come up with the in-canon way that you live. By the way, Captain Cummings, I killed him off too, but he said he got better because it was just like a shoulder wound. So I'm like, okay.
Is there anybody we've killed more than once? like Matt Weldon, have we killed him more than once?
No, Matt Weldon's only appeared once, I
He's only
think.
appeared once. Okay. So that's the other thing too, is that for Easter eggs, by the way, people, Tim is the one in charge of Easter eggs. Those aren't in the script. Tim just decides while he's drawing. The Easter eggs that I write into the script are absolutely esoteric, self-serving garbage that most people wouldn't even notice. Like, okay, here's the one that absolutely no one's going to notice, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop it now. The school at the beginning, in the prologue of Kamen America 2, that's Alexander Hamilton High from the Prom Night movies, the horror movies that all take place at Hamilton High. That was the reference photos that I sent Tim. And I'm not anticipating anybody would have gotten that without my telling them. So those are the kinds of Easter eggs that I write into the script that are completely pointless and worthless and no one would get. Tim is the one who does all the awesome Easter eggs that people love hunting down.
Oh, hey, Patrick says, I noticed it, Mark.
Oh, Patrick, that's what you're there for.
Now here's the big one. I should offer a prize. I don't want to offer a no prize. I think it'll be a real legitimate one. The house, the Vander's house, is based on an actual house. And if you can tell me which house it is, you can send me a message on Twitter, but you need to show, I need to, it's very, very specific. So if you can show it to me, I will definitely give you one. That might be the biggest Easter egg of all. The other one is the Marmaduke fan Easter egg. I'm not going to tell you about that one either. It was one of those things where I was like, hey, Marm, if you find it, it is the most hidden Easter egg there is. But that might be one I won't divulge until like my deathbed. I'll tell like my family. It's like, come close. It's like, what? It's like, tell the world about the Marmaduke fan Easter egg.
Oh no, Uncle Tim is having a stroke.
No, I'm dead.
There's this little web comic I saw that was funny where they're doing a dementia test on like this old lady, and they're showing her a picture of a fat dog, and they're like, "What is this?" You're like, "That's a chonker, an absolute unit." They're like, "Oh, she's too far gone. We're gonna have to put her in a home."
I remember this one from a decade ago. My gosh, it's these old people on the porch, and it's like, do you remember when our grandkids were so young? And the guy's like, no, but do you remember Thundercats?
Like, that show was awesome.
That show was awesome. Like, holy cow.
Like, that's exactly what it's going to be like, isn't it?
That's going to be everyone in the chat someday. My gosh. Dan Albus says, have you thought about making action figures of your characters? I've thought about it. I can't say if we're going to do it or not. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. No promises, though.
SH Figure Arts from Bandai or no deal? Sorry.
What about Funkos?
Funko Pop. I'm sorry, Tim, but this partnership is over.
Okay, I want to get people's opinions on this. So Jim Tuner asked, no, we need giant stuffed versions of the characters. Stuffed toys of humans weirds me out. I can't put my finger on it. I think they're popular, but I have like an aversion to it. However, in the chat, if you want to see like a stuffed plush, like cute Kamen America, just sound off because I need to know this. We were actually looking, so on the Kickstarter surveys, I asked a question of what products would you like to see offered in the future, and no one said stuffed animals. So
we did a stuffed animal for Black Ops 2, and it did okay. It did modestly, but it wasn't like a huge sweeping success. In fact, we still have some of our stuffed USAGIs available at the Iconic Comics web store.
Yeah, there's not many. I think it's less than 50.
Less than 50, yeah. But they're still like 2 years old. So I mean, if people want stuffed animals or stuffed characters, there has to be a huge demand for it, because the first time around it was just kind of like in sales.
Tyler says that's basically a doll of Kamen America. That is dirty, Tyler. You gross person.
So we had a friend of ours. He worked for Wheel of Fine, doing their convention circuit. And Wheel of Fine sold T-shirts and merchandise for a bunch of licensees, one of them being Hasbro and one of those IPs being My Little Pony. And he had to work the My Little Pony booth. And he was selling so many large plush ponies to a bunch of creeps. And he's like, I know what you're gonna do with this. This isn't for your daughter.
Ugh, gross. Gross.
Nasty.
Nasty. Hey, Kenneth Brown is here. I haven't seen you in a long time. Actually, I think whose stream was it? Was it Doug Garrett? I think he popped up in there, and I thought, wait, is that the Kenneth Brown? Like the one
he was Kenneth was off Twitter for a bit, but he's been on Facebook. I've basically been stealing all of his memes from Facebook and reposting them on Twitter and getting all the glory. So sorry, Kenneth, I've been doing that.
Now, this is something I can reveal. Gigantic Android says Common America Domino Mask. Yes, so that is a thing. Common America 3, we're going to unveil those. So I've posted a few photos online, but we've hired some people to model them. Those we're going to kind of keep really secret until we launch the campaign. But I'm very happy to say that they're 100% manufactured in the United States between the states of Texas and Oklahoma. Very happy that we were able to find domestic production of those. So we've actually had those in the works since September, I think.
So the only Chinese person coughing on your masks will be Tim.
Exactly. And I think this will make it so that the only foreign manufacturer that we have is for the standees. But it's a friend from across the pond. So no commies. No made in China, as far as I'm concerned, I think. Cabbage Head. Cabbage Head is another person who's been very supportive. We see she pop up on Twitter and on YouTube too. So I just want to make sure. I believe
they prefer Zur. No, I don't know.
Oh, Zur. Okay. And DA Talk says, my friend said Waifu Pillows. We did it the first time because there was such a demand for it. And don't get me wrong, I'm still, I guess, open to the idea. I just feel like, hey, we kind of did it once. And Carly's a wholesome character. So I was like, yeah, there's only so many positions that you can have.
They want a waifu pillow for every member of the Common Core. So they're going to want a Common Comet one. They're going to want a Common Ramen one. You got to keep pumping those out.
So for people who have read it in the chat, if you want to sound off, besides Carly, which one of the other members of the Common Core are your favorite? I mean, you can even include the bad guys too. Do you like Lansky? Do you like Vermilion?
You want a pillow of Lansky?
You want a pillow of Lansky? There's also Common UN. There's I already said Vermilion. I forgot who's. Oh, Common Ramen.
Everyone forgets about Kimiko. I was really worried. I had to basically go out I had to like vague book on Twitter, like, hey, everybody, do you not like Kimiko? It's okay if you don't. And everybody's like, no, we love Kimiko. She's great. Oh, she's my favorite. Yay, Kimiko. We love Common Ramen. Hurrah.
She's not fun to draw. So I gave her, like, if you were to pull the chopsticks out of her hair's really long. Because, I mean, not only does she have the bun, but she also has like the long flowing hair that's in the middle between like the top of her head and the bun itself. And I was like, dear God, you take away the chopsticks and her hair must be down to like her feet, like freaking long. Well, so she's not fun to draw. She's actually, for me, she's the one I dread drawing the most.
Well, that's a real anime thing, though. It's like in Sailor Moon. Sailor Venus's hair is like humongously long. It goes down to her ankles.
Oh, hey.
She never trips over it.
Let's tell people about this Easter egg, because I don't think anyone has seen this yet. So Evie says, you guys been called racist for Common Ramen yet? No, but that dovetails into another thing I was going to say. There's another Easter egg. It's on the very inside front cover of the book. So if you're reading the digital version or the physical copy, look at the indicia where we put all the legal stuff. You know, like Common America 2 is copyrighted by Mark Pellegrini, Timothy Lim, default trademark, blah, blah, first published, blah, blah, blah. There is an Easter egg in Common America 2. I'm betting Matt Reese is looking at it right now saying like, wait, what? Just look at the very bottom and you'll see a very, I don't want to say clever because Mark's not clever, but it's definitely something in there that we put to address what we thought was going to.
Before you pat yourself on the back, the hidden message in the indicia, that was done by the Max back in the 90s. That's not even an original gimmick.
Okay.
So suck on that.
Speaking of stuck on that, my pickle says, Mark, I've already declared ramen the best ramen.
Well, yeah, there we go. We finally have a man of taste and refinement. Thank you, Pickles.
He is a man of taste and refinement. He and I like to talk and joke about poop.
There we go.
That's how you know that it's good. Let's see here. I think Matthew Reese likes Common Comet because she's a tomboy. I've been listening to some of the things you've been saying, Matthew. You're like tomboys make the best
And
wives.
that's the thing is like there are people out there who like Sailor Mars the most, and I don't
Ugh,
understand them. I'm like Sailor
gross.
Mars. I mean, she's like the most basic and bland looking one, and she's such a bitch. She's always like yelling
She
and
has the
being
best
nasty.
taste in shoes.
Oh, okay.
She's the only one wearing high heels.
That's right. She does wear high heels.
The rest of them wear like ballerina shoes.
Yeah.
Well, Sailor Venus does. I don't know why I know that. Actually, I do know why I know that. But anyway, so what Tim is saying is that Mark should put more Common Ramen in because it's hard to draw. She's
Yeah,
in
I'm
a
gonna
lot of Common America 3, and it was not fun to draw. I don't reminisce about those days.
Well, get used to it because she's going to be a primary character. And we actually do have some plans for to expand on her storyline, her relationship with Carly, her backstory, things like that. So,
I
Tim.
knew Matthew Reese. I knew he's the scholarly one, so of course he looked it up.
Hey, just some guys in the chat.
Oh my gosh, just some guy. Hey, real quick. So I don't know if you were here from the beginning, just some guy, but we thanked you a lot. I just want to say, just for not just for the record, but just so people know, there's no paid endorsement from just some guy. We just happen to have known each other for the last 4 years. We don't know if he backs our books, if he buys them. He's not obligated to, but when he does, it's appreciated because his comic readers, they read our books and they trust his opinion. And we find that they tend to agree with him in terms of his assessment of our work. And it's always much appreciated.
I mean, we just
Obviously,
like his videos. That he did like a 2-minute video today on that. I am not Starfire. I'm a big fat goth chick, and it was classic.
it's been great seeing. I mean, we remember when his sub count when he started and seeing him to where he is right now. I mean, it's just it's humbling to us to know that he still likes our work. So I'm very happy that you took a chance on what we had to offer and that you liked it. And we hope that as long as we can keep on being entertaining, that you'll continue to pick it up because it's really, really appreciated. But he asks, what are you going to do with the 3 lights? I feel like an Ellen Page opportunity. So you know that Common America, the struggle is this. It's a non-political book, but we feel like a lot of the lessons we tell have a universal appeal. So if we have a volume that's about identity, it's not that we're trying to basically touch on a specific political thing. We are just saying that, hey, we don't think it's political to say that you are who you are, regardless of what someone might say. I think that's a universal standard. So if this is just for the future, if people are watching this and thinking, oh, they definitely did it to address that issue, not per se. We try to be very subtle and tactful when we do it. So, do you want to address that, Mark, since you're the writer?
Well, so we kind of, just to piggyback on that, we kind of want Common America to be something that you can read 10 years from now and just pick it up out of the back issues or off eBay and be able to follow it. It feels contemporary to whatever time period you're reading it in. It's not like the Walmart books, like those are very much meant as like memorabilia from here and now. They have a timestamp on them. So sometimes we have to fight the urge to put in very contemporary jokes that will age like milk. They're funny right now, but will they be funny 5 years from now? Like, I think I originally wanted to call Common UN, Common Karen. And like, that's hilarious, but it's not going to be hilarious 10 minutes from now, so don't do it. So he didn't do that. So things like that. So those so like an Ellen Page joke would be really funny, but then I don't know, it'd be like if we did a Bruce Jenner joke now. If we did a Bruce Jenner joke 5 years ago, that would have been really timely and funny. But the 3 lights from Sailor Moon. We're also, I don't know, maybe we put in especially in Common America 2, we kind of put in an Easter egg reference to Sailor Moon. Like we're not completely oblivious to the similarities between Common America and Sailor Moon, but Common America is a general Super Sentai, Tokusatsu, Henshin hero, satire, tribute book kind of thing. Not specific to Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon is just kind of part of that lineage that we draw inspiration from. So we're not going to necessarily do analogs to every aspect specifically from Sailor Moon.
But that doesn't mean that we don't farm for ideas.
Yeah, right. That doesn't mean we won't rip off Sailor Moon. Hell no.
Yeah. And then there was it was this one. So my Pickles says, Tim, can you bully Shabby into doing Sugar Rush? Oh, Pickles, I have some news for you. So I had lunch today with Matt Weldon and Bill Williams, and I told them your Sugar Rush idea, and they thought it was amazing. So I don't know what Shabby's problem is. I think that if you guys don't do it and you're serious about it, give us permission to use the character, because we're already working on where volume 5 is going to go, and there's a very easy spot to put that character in. So it's up to you, Pickles. I'm just telling you. I think you know it because it was your idea, but tell Shabby that the idea was really, really good. And then let's see here. This is like Mixel Pixit or whatever. Sis Rester Pix says, does Tim still take commissions on DeviantArt? I do not. I don't take any commissions at all. I'm way too busy at the moment. And then Matt Reese says, Tim, identity is necessarily political. My friend who Mark knows him. We call him Limey. He graduated from UCLA, but I don't think it's his quote. He's just the only person I've heard say it. But he talked about something called the politicization of the apolitical. And he said this back in like 2002, which is he was saying that predictably, things that we consider to be not political topics in the present day will become political topics in the future, simply because that's the nature of the beast. When you run out of identities to cater to politically, you have to politicize things that were not political by nature. So like I said, I think 10 years ago we would have kind of joked about the idea of someone identifying as an Apache helicopter. Now, I mean, that could be the headline tomorrow.
Well, I mean, did you see it was trending on Twitter, and their trending bar today? It was hashtag TERFs and hashtag normalize cis shaming. And I remember it was like 5 years ago, we had to tell a friend of ours what cisgender meant, because we're like, what the F does that mean? And like, oh, that means someone who's not a heterosexual. I'm like, what? Is that what that means? Like now it's like, again, politicizing the apolitical, the idea of normalize cis shaming. Like, what does that mean? It means to attack and degrade anybody who's heteronormative. Like, what? Why? Like, because they're cis scum. Cis scum? What the? Speak English.
Yeah, we're not even the lingo. It changes so quickly that there's no way that we can.
TERFs. I'm not even certain what the hell that means. TERF. I don't know.
Oh my gosh! So tyguess says, "Are you a fan of Tonikawa, or did you just want to get a picture of Rabbit?" No. I was watching it, and my rabbit. We just have this new rabbit that we got about 7 weeks ago, and she's really, really, really smart. She's kind of psychotic, but that's another story. And I bonded with her, so she likes me because we hang out. And I was on this. Long story short, I had to pick her up from across the border, so it was like a 4-hour drive. So I was in the car with her for 8 hours. So I think she thinks I'm her dad. And anyway, whenever I'm watching television, she likes to watch with me. So I was watching Tonikawa, and so she was watching. But I think because I was focused on it, she was mad at me because I wasn't paying attention to her. So that's why I had that photo, and I thought it was really funny. She would not stop staring at me. Like, I basically had to turn it off and then start petting her for her to.
You posted the video on Facebook, and she was acting like a brat, but she was like jumping. Was she jumping like directly on you, like jumping on and off of you and making you pet her?
I'm gonna make a joke here. I'm probably gonna get in trouble, but I don't care. Evie says TERF means trans exclusionary radical feminist. That sounds like an 80s cartoon, like trans exclusionary radical feminist.
They don't know their gender.
I don't know. I can't keep up with it. Hey, Doug Garrett, we thank you. If you go to the first 15 minutes, we made sure to give you and Skinny a shout out. Doug Garrett, we credit him in all our work because we use his songs for our promotional material, and he's not out of the picture yet because we have something. He knows what it is. I can't tell you guys. We got something really cool that we're going to give to y'all in January. We're going to go right out the gate. Like I said, right now I'm finishing up Kamen America 3. But we're also finishing up all this stuff that we've been working on to give you guys next year. It's going to be a brand new year, brand new start. We're going to try and upgrade Kamen America moving forward because, you know, we see how people love it. So we want to give you guys more of what you want. So Doug, I can't wait to show it to you. I mean, you've heard it, and I think you like it. But again, that was really rough. But I can't wait to have you listen to the final cut once you guys.
We're going to give you more of everybody's favorite Kamen America character, Badger, the capybara.
I like Badger the capybara.
0 people have ever commented on. I don't think I've received one comment on Badger the capybara. He's just sort of there.
I'm see, it's these things that I think about that no one else cares about because I'm like, I mean, is someone going to be like, by the way, in the state of Indiana, it is not legal to keep a capybara as a pet. Also, capybaras must have water that they have access to at all times for swimming and bathing. Where is the swimming pool on the Vanders homestead? By the way, there is an answer to that. The swimming pool is actually behind the house, but you haven't seen it yet. So there is one there. I was waiting for the script to be like establishing shot.
Oh yeah, we need to have a swimsuit special. Okay, well, I mean, besides the calendar that, by the way, is available with the Kamen America 2 campaign that has 3 more hours left. But yeah, shit, I gotta write an exploitative, like, hey everybody, that sure was a really brutal fight with Vermilion Masquerade. What are we gonna do? I don't know. Let's talk about it at the pool. And they're all on the pool.
Very fan servicey. But hey, if you're in the chat and you're wondering when the lewds are coming, so that's something else I was going to talk about.
The lewds?
So the number one question that we got for Kamen 1, and it was really funny. I was showing them to Mark. I was like, hey, like here's a compilation of the questions I've been getting. It was always, where is the lewd variant? Can we have the lewd variant? For Kamen America 2, we did not get that at all. 0. And so what that tells me is that people read it and they said, it's not that type of book. And I feel like they respect the character enough that they're like, I don't want, she's like the girl next door. Like, you don't want that, you know, you'd feel kind of gross.
They want to protect.
They want to protect because she's waifu material. So you got to protect her. Vikki says, I love the capybara. Oh, I forgot Video James is here. Hey, Video James. And then Hikaru, another person I need to thank. I see you pop up in the chats and on Twitter. And then I think sometimes I'm not on Discord really. I mean, I pop in now and then to see what's going on, but I'm not really on there. But I see you for sure. Jim Tuner says, will we see the swimming pool in the next issue? Well, now we might. Well, not in 3, because I've already drawn all the homestead.
Yeah, there's no room for that one, but
Ironverse Comics, Cody Fernandez. Yes, I think Mark thanked you in the first half of the show. We want to say thank you for helping us and retweeting and stuff like that. That's really cool. And I was reading your update. I'm really sorry to hear about some of the problems that you've had, but you're doing the right thing in terms of keeping people updated. That type of transparency is really what people are looking for. So we hope that you get on your feet really soon. I know that this has been a hard year for a lot of people. It sucked for, you know, a lot of our friends and family. So we hope that everything is good and that it seems like you're doing the right thing in terms of redivesting your budget to where it might count. So that's really, really good. Get the lewds. We don't do lewds. So the most that we'll do is we do have those whatchamacallit, swimsuit calendars. That's pretty much what you'll get. Now, it was funny because Brian Ball donated a lot of art and it was really pushing the envelope. But I was like, that's his character. That's not our character. So that's fine. So for people who like that type of stuff, we are going to do another one in 2021. That's typically, I think that's going to be a fall tradition. That's always going to be the offering as we go into the next year. So be on the lookout for that.
Most of the lewdest art, from whether it's the calendar or the back covers, the bonus pinup art, come from the Japanese artists you commission. And I have to ask you, Tim, when you send the commission details, do you specifically request, like to Kafun, who does a lot of the really great art that we've been getting, like, do you send him details saying, could you draw Carly, just, you know?
No, like what I do is because the artists are really good, and in transparency, a lot of them will do not safe for work. So I make sure to tell them, and I do it in very plain English. I say, please, no, not safe for work, must be clean and wholesome. For example, in the one where it was like her and Misha and USAGI and Patriotter. I sent him this really rough sketch. It looked like crap. But basically, the original sketch was I was like something like this, and it was Carly on the ground like ducking, and she was like covering him, and then like Misha and Patriotter were just like blasting away. So what that does is it just tells him the general idea, and he just does his own thing. As far as like, okay, well, I get what you want, but the thing about Kofun is that he does what he wants. He's very affordable, but it's the idea that you don't really get revisions. I mean, he picks it up and he goes with it, and that's it. You're stuck with what you get. But he's knocked it out of the park every time, so I don't question
every piece he's done. I mean, and all of them are tasteful. None of them are like Carly giving Misha a body massage like at the bathhouse in the nude or whatever.
I want to address this. So Chandler says we need those cosplay covers. Would you guys be interested in cosplay covers? I'm not saying that we're doing them. I'm not saying that we're not doing them, but I'm curious to see what people think. Some people like them, some people don't. Some people like variant covers, some people do not. I like variant covers as far as like choice is concerned. So if I know that I have a choice between A and B on the shelf, I like that. As far as like the competitiveness of variant covers, yeah, take it or leave it. I would be hypocritical to poo-poo it completely because I did a lot when I did a lot for like IDW and one for Valiant and a couple for Udon. So I see why people want to pay top dollar for them, but you know, kind of depends. Was that you, Mark? You go away? Are you taking a poop?
No, I'm here. Oh.
Okay.
No, I was taking a Advil PM so I can sedate myself and go to bed.
Yeah. You got to go to bed here in just a second. We've actually been streaming for about an hour and 6 minutes, so I think.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sad. We have 45 people in the chat. This is like triple.
We don't want y'all to go away.
I think, to be honest, I think they saw the title and they're like, "Oh boy, we need to come in and listen to this," because we titled it, what was it, like failed franchise or something.
Tim, are you getting dramatic on YouTube?
Am I getting
harvesting views for drama?
It's all for fun. It's just for fun. I just know that people were talking about it over the last week, so I'm kind of poking around a little bit, but we just want to say that we don't know where this is going to go. At some point, we might plateau, and that's fine. We're okay with that, but keeping a steady reader base is good. We like that. And we're going to be very happy as long as we can not only continue to create this content, but also make sure that we can deliver it to you and just cover our basic expenses. That's really all that we want. It's not really a race for anything. We're not in competition with anyone else.
I mean, quite frankly, so Kamen America 2 altogether has over 3,600 backers and over $100,000. We may never get that many again. Kamen America 3 may not make that much, but I mean, as long as we've done this well, we have our audience. Our audience is growing, and we have lots of Kamen America stories. It's going to be going on for several years. We're planning it out in arcs. So Black Ops Omnibus, for those of you who picked that up, that was the first 3 volumes of Black Ops. The Kamen America Omnibus, when that comes out, will be the first 4 volumes of Kamen America. So there'll be about another year before we do an omnibus collection, the first 4 volumes of that. But each volume will contain an arc, and we've got at least 3 or 4 arcs already in early plotting stages. So we've got plenty of Kamen America to go.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere anytime soon. We have contingency plans in case like I die or Mark dies. We have a general trajectory in terms of book ending it. Like we know how it's going to end. We know where the characters are going to go, and that's good. But like I said, it's not a race. As soon as we cross that 5, I think the last ones that we've done has been $1,000. As soon as we pass that goal and we know that we can at least pay ourselves for the work that we do to at least sustain the hobby, we're good. And everything else is just for you guys because you're the readers, and ultimately at the end of the day we need to make you happy, and we need to make sure to not compromise our storytelling as we do it. So as long as we can come to a happy medium between the two, you're going to keep on seeing the work from us. But for those of you who have defended us from a lot of like slander and libel and things like that, and have really stood up for us, there are no words that can express the gratitude that we have other than continuing what we do, which is putting out the work. And so we hope you enjoy it. And we hope that y'all had a happy Thanksgiving. If we don't talk to you in this capacity soon, we hope that you have a Merry Christmas. The campaign ends in approximately 3 hours. Indiegogo has been very good at getting me payment very quickly. On Black Ops, we had a record fulfillment. They sent us the funds 4 days after it ended. We went into an immediate fulfillment, and we had everything shipped out in 10 days. I want to beat that record. So I think we'll leave off on this. I have already told fulfillment to start wrapping up the books. I want to see if we can get everything out in 72 hours once we are done with the funding, so that the people who are new, like especially Just Some Guy, because he's always bringing new readers in, I want to show them and have them have this be a very pleasant experience where they're like, whoa, I just backed that. How is it already here in like less than 10 days? I'm hoping that they can pay us as quickly as they did last time. And if they do, we are ready to go. So we love you all.
Yeah, wait, one super boring thing before we sign off, though, for everybody. If you backed Indiegogo, Indiegogo is different from Kickstarter. You don't have to do a survey. Just remember that when you get emailed the link to the PDF, the digital version, that's a limited time link. So download the PDF as soon as you get it. How many days is that link stay
7
active?
days. And I'm going to put
days.
out that update tomorrow saying 7 days. We have to enforce that very, very strictly. We have our own reasons for doing so. I think some people know why, at least behind the scenes. It's actually like a psychology / marketing thing. Why we make it 7 days. We have to enforce that. We will not leave up an open gate link for anyone to click on. And on the other hand, we don't want DRM. We want it so that you can have it. You can download it on your device. The only caveat to that is you have to do it within that time window. There are no other restrictions. We don't put in watermarks or anything like that. We want you to enjoy it as far as you can on a readable device. You just have to make sure that you do that in 7 days. Real quick on, let's see, is the Indiegogo different from a Kickstarter version? No, they're completely identical. The only difference was that they're all limited. So all the tiers were limited. It wasn't open season for people to buy as many as they want. Leo Slayer says, still waiting for the Walmart Gold Standard Omnibus to ship. If you're talking about the hardcover one, that one is going to be shipping this week to Iconic Comics. That's what I was told this morning. We don't own that company. It's actually a friend of mine who runs the fulfillment and does the online store. If you have any inquiries, please make sure to email info@iconiccomics.com. They're pretty speedy in terms of getting back to their customers. But if that's what you're inquiring about, that's where that is. If you're inquiring about the Walmart Gold Standard Omnibus, the one that we had the campaign for on Indiegogo in summer, we fulfilled that one in the record time as well. Like that one went out right when we said it would, which I think was July, if I'm not mistaken. But other than that, Gigantic Android, do you know when KA2 will be in Diamond? Depends on if Antarctic Press wants it. So after this campaign is over, I think on Monday next week, I send them the email saying, hey, here's Black Ops 3 and Kamen America 2. If you want it, it's yours. But ultimately, it's their editorial board that has to decide if they want it or not. So we don't guarantee that anything is going to go to retail, but we're always happy when Antarctic Press wants our stuff. All righty. So that was it. I'm pretty sure that we'll stream again at some point as we head into Christmas. But if we don't have all of you here gathered, all 44 of you, we want to say we love you. We want to say that if you're going through a tough time right now because of the year, that I'm praying for you, and keep your chin up, because like Carly, you're always remaining optimistic, and we like to stay optimistic too. So that's it. Have a good night, everyone. See you later. Bye.
Ciao.